Siemasz. Today we are in another beautiful place, another beautiful city, which is called Bolków. It came from the name of King Bolesław the first, if I could remember. And we're gonna see his castle, which is a very old castle, and also we're gonna see how the town looks like, because it's really beautifully looking town. So let's start the trip.
Oh, this is a bit more up your street, isn't it?
Yes, that's beautiful. This is medieval castle, and that's not the only story to that castle, because every year exactly in this castle takes a place the Gothic and metal music festival called the Castle Party. It's right here in that place. Okay, I don't need to limp anymore. Okay, right now we are in the place where in medieval times the tournaments, the knights tournaments were taking place. It's not yet within the castle, but it's a part of the fortress. You can see the main walls of a castle behind me, and right now behind me you can see the lower walls equipped in halls that could provide the defenders of the castle with possibility of defend and shoot to the enemy below. Also in modern times this is a place where the stage of the castle party is situated, and yeah, the whole party, all the concerts are taking place in here. Right now the view on Bolków down there, which we will visit later, because it has a beautiful market square and the council offices building. on the other side. Here you can see different kind of rocks that build this castle, and majority of those rocks are the sand rock and different kind of rocks coming from the volcano, being created after eruption of the volcanoes. So that wall has 2 meters of thickness and is coming from the 13th century. So it's that house. This is a water cistern that used to provide water for the castle in old times.
Tak, ja też poczułam, a nie miałam. Co?
And also the rocks that castle is standing on have a different origins. Some of them are just normal rocks, but you can also find a lot of stuff like this, for example opal or amethyst and agate. Let's see what's inside of this beautiful tower. You cannot go pretty far deep, but the tower was mainly used as a prison. As you can see, it's a nice display of things you can find in a prison. That's the bottom of the tower. Let's see what's on the top of it. Partially collapsed, obviously, because that's very old castle. So very tiny passage. Yeah, contrary to popular belief, people in old ages weren't really so big. At least not in all ages, which was an effect of poor diet mainly. And here we are within the tower. But this is not the end, so each level of that tower has like an arch ceiling. Let's go level up. Quite steep, those steps. Have to be careful. And here we are at the very top. Well, the walls are quite high here. But that's not the last level, because we got like a gallery at the very top. And here that's the view. The top of the castle. It is quite crazy if you think that we are just so high up on the structure that has so many years and it's still standing strong. I have to admit, when I look down, I got a little bit of fear of height kicks in. So let's go down those steps again. Pchniemy się tu. Okay, we are back down on the second level. Oh, this is made out of wood. That looks so amazing. As you can see, coming down those steps is not the most comfortable thing in the world, as you have to be careful not to hit your head. Okay, we are back down.
Tak?
No.
We will enter right now one of the old buildings, obviously with the collapsed floors. So this construction is what was called the Gothic house from the 13th century, and that was also built during the rebuild and revamp of a castle. You can see how those walls bond to the rock in here. Now we're gonna enter the outer walls on the other side of the castle, on a town side. So that was obviously place that served as a protection in a case of enemy surrounding the castle. These places sticking out gave the defenders possibility of shooting everybody who was hiding right behind the wall, and every now and then you can see them sticking out from the castle walls. And here we are, the remains of the front wall. As you can see, there was a lot of reconstructions during the ages. Some parts were built into it, extended, expanded, floors probably built into windows, walled. Let's see. Here is another gap for defenders of the castle. And let's see the last outer point. You can see the walls originally, and probably the castle as well, was stretching out a little bit more. Perhaps that's just the city walls. I think it's time to go to the least damaged part of the castle. We'll see what's interesting left inside. So basically, as you can see, the castle comprises the number of leveled terraces that help in a case of breaching one gate or wall, gives the defenders possibility of defending themselves on another level. I guess all the brick wall, all the brickworks, should I say, are relatively modern attempts to save whatever left from collapsing. And here we enter the museum. And this is the crest of the Piast, Silesian Piast dynasty, which was residing and built this castle. Here you got the part of the outer walls we cannot enter, but that was also part of defense system, that defenders could walk around. The town of Bolków lies at the Nysa-Szalona River, approximately 9 miles southwest of Jawor and 43 miles west of the regional capital Wrocław. It's located within the historic region of Lower Silesia. In the Middle Ages, Bolków was a small settlement within the fragmented Polish kingdom. It was first mentioned as Hein and granted town rights in 1276. The monumental Piast dynasty castle in Bolków is one of the largest fortresses of the Świdnica-Jawor duchy. The stronghold, erected in the 13th century, defended nearby trade routes. Its monumental walls are still very impressive, stirring the imagination. The fortress is testimony to the dramatic history of this part of Central Europe. The oldest known mention of the Bolków castle dates back to 1277. Bolków castle was built on the order of the Prince of Legnica, Bolesław II Rogatka, known as Bald, and later expanded by his son Bolko I Strict, the Prince of Świdnica and Jawor. On the initiative of Bolko I, a number of strongholds were expanded to control the passages from the Czech Republic to Silesia throughout the Sudeten range. This contributed to maintaining the independence of Świdnica-Jawor duchy until the end of the 14th century, the longest among all Silesian principalities. In the mid-14th century, the castle was connected with the city fortification system. Its southern and southeastern corners were connected with the city walls. In the Piast times, the castle residents were ducal burgraves such as Logau, Szafgotz, Schweinichen and Salza. In the years 1301 till 1368, during the reign of Princes Bernard of Świdnica and Bolko II the Small, the castle was enlarged. According to historians from the time of Bolko II, for about 100 years the castle served as a treasury, which was later transformed to Prague. Bolko II was childless, therefore he adopted the daughter of his deceased brother Henry, Anna, and made her heir to the principality. On May 27, 1353, Anna married the Czech king Charles IV. On July 3rd, he bequeathed Bolków to Anna and Charles IV under the condition that he would be able to rule them until his death. It remained part of the Piast-ruled Duchy of Świdnica until its dissolution in 1392, when it was incorporated into the Czech crown lands of the multi-ethnic Holy Roman Empire. Until this year,
most probably from the times of Bolko I, the castle served as a treasury. The city was destroyed during the Hussite attacks, but the castle was not conquered. In 1463, the castle was captured by the Czech king George of Podebrady, and afterwards it became the home of local bandits. This was the reason why the burghers of Wrocław and Świdnica organized an armed expedition to the castle under the leadership of Guncel II Świnka in 1468. Afterwards, the town passed to the Kingdom of Hungary. In 1491, the castle was besieged by the Czech king Władysław II Jagiellończyk and came back under Czech rule. At the beginning of the 16th century, thanks to King Ferdinand I, the castle was handed over to the Wrocław bishop for life. The bishop, on the order of monarch, undertook the expansion of the castle. In the years 1539 till 1540, the castle was rebuilt under the leadership of the Lombard architect Jacob Parr. First of all, the fortified area was enlarged. Courtyards were built, surrounded by walls and bastions in the southwest part and on the town side. These fortifications were connected with two town towers. The tower was crenellated in the form of dovetails. After the bishop's death in 1543, the castle was transferred to his family as a fief. From 1570, the owner of the castle was Matthias von Logau. In 1596, the castle passed into the hands of the Zedlitz family. In 1640, during the 30 Years' War, the castle was besieged. In 1646, it was taken over by the Swedish army. The castle's current shape was only done so by various constructions in the 16th century. The famous Silesian architect Jacob Parr brought elements of a Renaissance into the castle's fortifications. After the construction and expansion, the castle had a total area of 7,600 square meters, making it one of the largest castles in Silesia. In 1903, the castle in Bolków was bought by Cistercian monks from Krzeszów. Since then, the castle has remained uninhabited. In 1715, the Cistercians completed the interior reconstruction. During the Silesian Wars, in the mid-18th century, the town was annexed by Prussia and subsequently, in 1871, became part of Germany. By an edict of October 30th, 1810, the castle became the property of the Prussian state treasury. During this time, the buildings began to fall into ruin. In 1813, after the Napoleonic Wars, Russian soldiers stayed in the castle. Searching for the legendary gold, they dug a hole at the base of the tower to get to the Hunger Dungeon. In 1885, the authorities allowed the demolition of part of the walls, and the obtained material was used to repair the roads. In 1922, the House of Women was rebuilt, the ground floor was turned into the youth hostel, and the first floor was transformed into a regional museum. After Adolf Hitler came to power, the castle became the property of the state. It is assumed that the castle housed a research center supervising nearby factories. During World War II, the Germans established a sub-camp of Grossrosen concentration camp for Jews. A training camp for Jewish volunteers to Haganah was established in 1947 after war. The camp trained 7,000 soldiers who then traveled to Palestine, and it existed until the end of 1948. Since 1997, the Bolków Castle is the site of the annual Castle Party Gothic Rock Festival.
So let's take a last look at the castle, because right now we're going down to the market square.
Oh yes.
And we're gonna see how Bolków town looks like. So we just came down to Bolków, and right at the beginning it greeted us with arcades again. Just like in Javor,
Yeah.
this is also pretty much the town that was established in really the same time what Javor, I expect. And yeah, you got pretty much the same design. It's a beautiful place. Unlike Javor, this one is in more hilly area, and this is pretty much like typical design in old towns, especially the ones with the castle, where you got castle on the hill defending, and at the base of the castle people start building and they create town. Usually there is a church, just like here on the square, and the central point of each square place is what you call town council council offices. Council offices. Usually mayor of town used to reside in those. Obviously in modern times it's changed a little bit. Those buildings at the top have modern flats, and even the outer layer is designed more modern than in old times, but it has still that beautiful vibe, like you can see here right now within this corner building. Okay, we just came to the other side of the market square, and you can see
Beautiful
that
buildings.
especially those three in there, that is typical for the very, very old German built towns. They got those different shape of facades and facades, facade, and different colors, which creates that beautiful
It does.
climate. It's all restored as it used to be ages ago, with the cobblestones and the granite.
When I was in the castle, that's how they built the roads, wasn't it? From part of the castle.
Yeah, can be. Anyway, I'm not so much about reading description,
I've said too much, so I'm just going to hand it over to
I'm
Thomas.
not so much about reading description and stuff like that. I just like the beautiful looking buildings
It
and
is, it's
stuff.
gorgeous.
So yeah, I just didn't read all the history. So if you like to know a little bit more about the history of the castle and the town, you would have to dig out on Uncle Google for yourself, because I'm not going to spend the time and learn everything. I will probably forget in a week's time. But we would just like to show you these beautiful places, and I think that will be it for today. So we will see you on another exploration, and high five!